Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Monday, November the 12th. We have 9 games on this Monday slate, another really good size slate with 9 games. It's going to be a fun one. We got a lot of value potentially with that Jimmy Butler trade. A lot of guys did not get priced up for what they should be. So the Sixers going to be running a pretty thin rotation today. Jimmy Butler's not going to play for the Sixers. He's not expected to play till Wednesday. And I believe the same can be said with the Timberwolves. With them getting Sarge and Covington, I don't believe they're going to be able to play today on Monday either. So going to see a very thin rotation from the Sixers and from the Timberwolves, which is going to open up a lot of value. A lot of guys are too cheap for the minutes that they should play. Going to be most likely a stars and scrubs kind of night where you're trying to fit in probably 3 studs, then get some scrubs to fill around them. We'll talk about the studs I like. We'll talk about the value, and if there are mid-tier plays that I like, we will go through each position and talk about those as well. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It really does mean a lot. If you are new to the channel, then make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at point guard. Westbrook and Curry both not playing today, so Ben Simmons, our most expensive point guard, he's $9K, gets a matchup against the Heat, and I love Ben Simmons here. Like I talked about, the Sixers going to be running a thin rotation. We'll pull up their depth chart real quick, or all the players from the Sixers. So DraftKings has Covington and Sarge both listed like as Sixers players, but we obviously know they're not on the team anymore, got traded, and both are going to be out. Jimmy Butler's not going to play today as well. So the starting lineup for the Sixers on Friday after that trade broke, it was Simmons, Fultz, Redick, Embiid, and I believe... Landry Shamet, I think he started. So the starting 5 on Friday was Redick, or no particular order, but Redick, Embiid, Simmons, Fultz, and then Landry Shamet. Those were the 5 starters, and all of them played pretty heavy minutes. Some guys did get good run off the bench. TJ McConnell played 34 minutes in an overtime game, I believe. They played against Memphis. The game went overtime. McConnell did play 34 minutes off the bench. I expect him to get a lot of good run off the bench. I think he is a great value at $3,800. Fultz, I feel like, is going to pick up a little bit of usage, but it's mainly going to be Embiid and Simmons doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the Sixers today. So I love this spot for Ben Simmons at $9K. He feels a little bit underpriced. I think he's a really good option at this price tag. Just should have to do so much with both Covington and Sarge not on the team. Simmons did not get priced up to what he should be. I'm definitely playing Ben Simmons over John Wall, over Kyle Lowry, over Levine. Just think he's the much stronger play today. Really not going to be heavy on any of these mid-tier plays because, like I said, it's going to be a stars and scrubs slate. The only couple mid-tier guys I do see myself getting some exposure to. So Derrick Rose is going to be a guy that's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting today. Jimmy Butler not going to play for the Timberwolves. Sarge and Covington, I imagine, don't play as well. So this Timberwolves going to be running a thin rotation. Jeff Teague's not playing. Wiggins is questionable. Rose could be looking at heavy minutes here, but he got priced up to $7,500. And I don't think Derrick Rose is a must at $7,500. If he was cheaper, I would have a lot of interest, but at $7,500, he has to get you probably at least 40 to even be a remotely good play. Probably for tournaments, you want at least like 45, close to 50 from Rose to be a really good tournament play. So I think I can find similar production for cheaper. Don't have a ton of interest in D-Rose, even though I think he's in a great spot. Just the price tag's a little bit too much. Let's more focus on the value at point guard. So a lot of value. Quinn Cook's going to start again for the Warriors. He's $5K. Definitely a strong value play. Friday against Brooklyn, everybody was on him, including myself. He was just too good of a play. He was kind of like a free square. Played 30 minutes against Brooklyn, put up 41 DraftKings points at $4,200. I could see Cook easily getting 30-plus DraftKings points again at $5K. Very strong option against the Clippers if you do want to go to him. Markelle Fultz, I expect to have to handle the ball a little bit more with both those guys out for Philly. So at $4,600, I do like him. I think he is in play. J.J. Barea could definitely be a value play. Wesley Matthews is doubtful. There's a chance that J.J. Barea starts for Wesley Matthews. So he could be a great value at $4K. Anytime Barea plays 23 to 25 minutes, I have a lot of interest in him. The guy's a pretty good point-per-minute producer when he's on the court. He's going to definitely dish out assists. He's going to score. Only played 22 minutes against OKC, but still put up 34 DraftKings points. if we get mid-20s in minutes from Barea here, potentially even more than that, I think he is a good value at 4K. Could start potentially for Wesley Matthews. I imagine Matthews doesn't play today. Mentioned TJ McConnell at 3,800. Definitely like him. We could potentially see him start over Shamet. I guess we'll have to wait and see what that Philly lineup is. I like McConnell at 3,800. Do like Ryan Arcidiacono as well at 3,700. I think he is a good point guard value play. He did start last game for the Bulls. He started over Cameron Payne, and he got a lot of good run. He played 30 minutes and put up 24 DraftKings points, had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Did shoot the ball 8 times, shot 6 for 8, so he was pretty efficient from the field. But I just like to see the minutes. That's the big reason I like Arcidiacono here. It's hard to get guys this cheap playing the amount of minutes that Arcidiacono is going to play. Against Dallas, like the spot, 3,700, the price tag's too cheap. I think Arcidiacono is definitely a better cash play. For tournaments, though, I would probably say that McConnell has a little bit more upside. If we get TJ McConnell starting, then I'm definitely playing McConnell over Arcidiacono, but if McConnell's going to come off the bench, probably would prefer Arcidiacono at 3,700. McConnell, though, is definitely in play if you want to go to him. And then Shamet, he's 3,400, could be another value as well. He did play 40-plus minutes in an overtime game. He wasn't very efficient when it comes to fantasy, or he only shot 2 for 13, so definitely wasn't efficient from the field, but 18 DraftKings points, but he did play 42 minutes in an overtime game. He's probably going to play heavy minutes again, so definitely a value if you want to go there. Very cheap, just 3,400. But now let's move on to shooting guard. So you have like DeMar DeRozan at the top here. You got Kawhi Leonard. You got LaVine. But again, I'm just going to try and find a lot of scrubs, and I think there are scrubs at this position as well. Just really cheap guys that are going to be forced into big minutes. I don't see myself getting a ton of DeRozan or Kawhi or Zach LaVine today. Like, I like these guys. I think they have upside, but definitely not like core plays for me. I'd rather play Ben Simmons at 9K than play DeRozan at 9,300. You have D Rose in the mid-range, who I talked about. Just, I feel like he's a little bit overpriced. Could see him putting up a nice game, but at 7,500, probably going to be avoiding D Rose today. Wiggins, a very key injury to watch. He is questionable for Minnesota at 6,300. If he plays today, I think he's definitely option. Let's pull up Minnesota's player pool as well, just their players. So we know Jimmy Butler not on the team anymore. Sarge and Covington got traded to Minnesota, and I don't think they play today. I would imagine they're not going to be able to make their debut this quickly. So we're going to see a very thin rotation from the Timberwolves. I'm expecting heavy minutes, heavy usage for Karl-Anthony Towns. Same with D Rose. If Wiggins plays, I think he's going to play a ton of minutes. Taj Gibson's going to have to play a ton of minutes. Another guy that's going to have to play a ton of minutes is Josh Okogie at 3,900. He's a shooting guard value play that I really, really like. He's dirt cheap. If Wiggins starts, or if Wiggins plays, there's a chance Okogie could even start with Wiggins. I could see the Timberwolves starting Rose at the 1, then Okogie, then Wiggins, then Gibson, then Towns. I have a feeling that's going to be their starting 5. If Wiggins misses, Okogie should definitely start, and we could see Anthony Tolliver possibly starting. But Okogie should be looking at some heavy minutes here, whether Wiggins plays or not. The Timberwolves are going to be very thin at rotation. Obviously, I'm taking into account that Sarge and Covington don't make their debut today. If they are able to play, that's definitely going to muck things up a bit. I'm going to just really have to redo what I talked about. But I don't think they play. I think we see the Timberwolves run a thin rotation. I think we see Okogie get a ton of minutes. Really like him at shooting guard for value at 3,900. I mentioned some guys down here as well some guys I talked about are shooting guard plays like JJ Barea. If he starts for Wes Matthews at 4K, he could be a shooting guard value. You can play TJ McConnell at shooting guard. So that's kind of where I'm going at shooting guard, trying to punt this position, get those value plays. So let's move on to small forward. This is a position where I like the studs. Love KD here, obviously. He's 11K today, which honestly might be a little bit too cheap. We know Curry and Draymond both not playing. So KD just going to see massive usage. Took 15 shots last game against Brooklyn, played 30 minutes. Had 57 DraftKings points, had 28, 5, and 11 with a block and 2 steals. Just all-around solid game from KD. I expect a similar performance today as that one. I think KD could even eclipse 60 DraftKings points today. At 11K, definitely want to try and pay up for him, especially if the value holds that I like, the value holds that I'm talking about. Then I could see myself playing like Simmons, KD, some other studs we'll talk about. Definitely like KD. Paul George at 9,700. I like the matchup against Phoenix, but I don't know if I'd pay that price tag for PG. I think I'd rather just get up to Kevin Durant for a little bit more. But PG is definitely in play with no Westbrook. Obviously, we could go to him. At 9,700, though, that price tag's starting to get up there. Probably would play KD over him. Try and get up to KD at least. Aaron Gordon's a key injury to watch. He was out Sunday, and the Magic are on a back-to-back. If Aaron Gordon misses, that could potentially open up some value. DJ Augustine could be looking at more usage. Evan Fournier I didn't really talk about. He did get priced up, though. Fournier is 6,700. Don't think he's necessarily that strong of a play at that price. But Gordon missing could open up value. Definitely want to keep track of that injury throughout the day. But let's look for other small forward plays. Maybe if we want to go cheaper, if we want to look in the mid-range. TJ Warren's been playing really well for the Suns lately. He's 5,500 against OKC. I don't really like the matchup because I have a feeling Paul George could potentially guard TJ Warren here. But lately, Warren's just been playing really well, been playing massive minutes. 42 and 37 minutes the last two games, 44 and 42 DraftKings points. I don't think we get 40 DraftKings points again out of TJ Warren, but I could definitely see him getting close to 30, if not more than 30, with just the amount of minutes he's playing lately. I'd imagine he continues to play these massive minutes and continues to start. Do like him at 5,500 if you want to go to him at small forward. I think he's a pretty strong play in the mid-range. You got Harrison Barnes at 5K. If Wesley Matthews misses, you could go to Harrison Barnes at 5K. His upside, though, is a little bit limited. You never get like massive games out of Harrison Barnes. Probably would try and get up to Warren, but Harrison Barnes probably as a cash play makes a lot of sense at that price. But trying to look for cheap plays at small forward really isn't a ton I see besides the guys that I've kind of already talked about. Maybe like Wes Johnson if Mirotic misses again. I think Wes Johnson got some pretty good minutes last game with Mirotic out. 28 minutes against Phoenix, just 14 DK points, but the minutes were there. There's probably better value on the slate, honestly, but if Mirotic misses, we could potentially go to Wes Johnson at 3,600. But that's it for small forward. Let's move on to power forward now. You do have Anthony Davis up top here, 11,600 against the Raptors. So right now, I do like Anthony Davis. I like Kevin Durant as well. It's going to be hard to choose between the two. Anthony Davis in this matchup against the Raptors, I wouldn't necessarily say I love this spot. I have a feeling Kawhi maybe guards AD, and Kawhi, even though he's undersized when it comes to AD, like when it comes to height, Kawhi is still a really good defender. I could see AD probably putting up like 58 to 60 here, but at the price tag of 11,600, you kind of need him to have one of those massive ceiling games to really be worth this price tag. Now, I don't know if that comes today. I think there's other guys from the Pelicans I'd rather talk about, or I'd rather target, and I'm going to talk about him in a second. So AD at 11.6, I'll probably have a little exposure, but I think I would rather play KD for just a little bit cheaper. Power forward for me, this position's kind of all about Julius Randle, so if Mirotic is out today, he missed on Saturday, I believe. He was questionable Saturday, and he did not play. And Randle was like 6,200. He was really popular, but he just made so much sense. Randle played massive minutes. We saw him play the most minutes he's played all year. 38 minutes last game against Phoenix with Mirotic out. He did start for Mirotic. I imagine if Mirotic misses again today, then we're going to see big minutes out of Randle, 30-plus minutes I could reasonably project for him. 6,600 is just too cheap of a price tag for Julius Randle if he's going to play 30-plus minutes. Dude's just really efficient. He's a great fantasy point-per-minute player. Took 19 shots last game against Phoenix. Put up 48 DraftKings points. Had 22, 15, and 3 with 2 blocks. Just a all-around solid game from Randle. We could definitely get 40-plus DraftKings points again out of Randle, and at 6,600, that's just too cheap of a price tag. Make sure you're keeping up with the Mirotic news. If Mirotic misses, Julius Randle, going to be popular, but just a really good play all around at 6,600. But now let's look for some value. So you got Warren. You can play for value at 5,500 if you want to go to him at power forward. Let's pull up the Sixers and the Timberwolves real quick. So both of these teams could have some value. Taj Gibson I mentioned at 5,400. Probably going to be looking at massive minutes. I don't love that price, but Taj Gibson, if he's going to play 35, 36 minutes, is definitely an option. Gorgie Jang could see some good minutes off the bench. Wilson Chandler, if he's able to play today, could potentially see good minutes off the bench if he's not limited. If Andrew Wiggins is unable to play today, I could see Anthony Tolliver starting for Minnesota and probably going to have to play decent minutes. 3,300, he could be a value play. Amir Johnson, I thought, was going to get some good minutes last game. He really didn't, though. Just played like 15 minutes off the bench. Played 14 minutes off the bench against Memphis. Just 15 DK points. I was projecting Amir Johnson for close to 20-plus minutes. Didn't get there. Probably going to avoid him. And then Jonah Bolden was another guy I was on last Friday with the trade. Thought he was going to see some good run off the bench, and he only played 15 minutes as well. Just 9 DK points. Probably going to be avoiding the Timberwolves when it comes to power forward, or not the Timberwolves, the Sixers when it comes to power forward value, but the Timberwolves definitely have value at this position. Expect Gibson to play massive minutes, and I think Tolliver could see some good run off the bench. Tolliver potentially starting if Wiggins misses. So that's probably the value I'm going to be going to at power forward. So let's move on to center. Up top, this is definitely a position I like the stud plays. So love Embiid against Miami. I just think Embiid's just going to have to do so much today. Him and Simmons, I'm projecting really well here. I think both of them have monster games. But Karl-Anthony Towns is just hard to avoid today. With no Jimmy Butler, I expect Karl-Anthony Towns to just see massive usage in this game. He's just really going to have to do so much heavy lifting. Him and Rose, I expect to put up pretty big games. At 8,900 against Brooklyn with no Jimmy Butler, just too cheap of a price tag for Cat. I'm expecting him to probably play close to 40 minutes, if not more than that. And we could definitely get 60-plus DraftKings points again out of Karl-Anthony Towns. Great play on this slate, hard to avoid, love him at center. By far the best center play in my opinion. Embiid's right there with him, but I think I'd prefer the savings and go down to Cat for 8,900. Very hard to avoid. Going to have a ton of exposure to Cat today. But other centers, if we want to go to the mid-range, you could potentially go to Marc Gasol at 7,100. Don't love that play, but Marc Gasol's just been consistent all year, and he still feels a tad bit underpriced. Could go to him, having to go up against Rudy Gobert. Maybe DeAndre Jordan at 7K against the Bulls. Like that matchup. He could potentially be in play. Wendell Carter, I've been on a ton lately. Still feels a tad bit underpriced at 6,400. Could potentially go to Wendell Carter. Dwight Howard also seems underpriced. Same with Cauley-Stein. A lot of these mid-tier plays seem a little bit underpriced. Like Cauley-Stein's been putting up an average of 33 DK points on the year, and he's still just 6,200, which is pretty cheap. Same with Dwight Howard, 6,100 for Howard. Now that he's playing his full minutes, he feels a little bit too cheap. And then going to the value, so you have Jared Allen, 5,100 against the Timberwolves. I like him as a value play potentially, but that's really all I see for center value. You could potentially go to the Warriors guys for value. We know Draymond Green's not going to play. Jordan Bell would probably be the guy I'd go to. He's not center eligible. Forgot to talk about him at power forward. At 4K, I think Jordan Bell's probably the guy you want if you're going to target some of the Warriors bigs. I think he played 27 minutes last game against Brooklyn. I know he didn't start. I think Jerebko started over Jordan Bell. Yeah, he played 27 minutes, put up 24 DraftKings points against the Clippers. Great matchup. Clippers really struggled to defend bigs. I do like Jordan Bell. He's not a center play, but power forward play, definitely a value you could go to. I think I'd play him over Looney. Looney, I just don't know if I want to go there. I know Looney is center eligible. Let's see if I can find him. He's 3,800. Let's see how many minutes Looney played last game. I know Jerebko played about the same as Bell. Looney only played 13 minutes last game. I think Looney's probably the guy you want to avoid. And especially if Jerebko starts again, he's definitely in play. But Bell's probably the guy I want at 4K if I'm going to target that situation. But yeah, I think that's it for center, guys. And I think that's it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. A little bit longer than normal. Looks like I've been recording for like 19 minutes. So a little bit of a longer video. But definitely wanted to really break this slate down. Talk about the injuries. Talk about the depth. The depth charts, at least for the Sixers and for the T-Wolves. I think we're going to get a lot of value from both of those teams with that trade happening and with guys still being underpriced for the minutes they're going to have to play. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed, just make sure you drop a like, guys. Really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. And good luck tonight on this 9-game slate.